Man, you can tell it's July. Because it's hotter than a mother. What's up, people? Happy 4th of July. Happy, hot summertime to everyone overseas. Yeah, 2014. We are more than halfway done with it. And when it comes to my movie watching challenge, which, in case I have to describe it again, I try to challenge myself to watch as many movies as I possibly can within the year. I try to watch almost every release of the year. This year, however, I am severely lacking. Up until this point, I've only seen 30 films. Now, the reason for that is because there's been a lot of movies that I wasn't necessarily that interested in seeing, and there have been movies that I say, you know what, I'll just catch it on Blu-ray or online or, whatever. So, what I'm going to be doing with this video is I'm going to read off the list of movies that I have seen, and I'm going to quickly review them, because I kind of said to myself, I want to review every movie that I've seen this year in some way, shape, or form. So, I may not make an individual video for every film, but I do want to at least acknowledge it on this channel, so you guys get an idea of what I have been watching and kind of what I refused to watch. So these are the 30 films that I've seen in 2014 so far. This is going to be a long video. Like I said, there are 30 titles, but there are going to be some that I'm just going to glaze over because I already did review them, and I might just leave a link down below for each film that I did review. But for the other ones, hang in there. Listen to this as a podcast, if you will, and here we go. Alright, so the first movie that I seen in 2014 was Paranormal Activity, The Loved Ones. It's not a film that I really wanted to see. I don't really care for the paranormal films. I stopped watching at part 2, but because my birthday just happens to land on the worst movie month, January, my buddies wanted to take me to the movies, and that's the only thing that we decided that we wanted to see, even though we all knew it was going to suck. And sure enough, it did. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it just felt lazy. It's just your average Paranormal Activity movie with a little bit of Latin flavor in it. The scares are real cheap. It's actually quite boring. The acting is okay, but it's nothing special. The only thing that stuck out, the only thing that I actually remember from the movie, that I actually cared about, is it actually syncs up with the first Paranormal Activity film. And that's not what I like about it. What I like is that you actually get to see, I don't remember the characters' names from the first film, but I know one of them is Micah. Anyway, you actually get to see the DVD collection, and they had an awesome DVD collection. So yeah, that's what I remember from that film, a DVD collection. I gave it a 2 out of 5, just didn't care for it, and it's actually the worst movie that I've seen this year so far. The next movie I saw was Ride Along, and I actually did do a quick review for that, and I enjoyed it. I love Ice Cube, and I like Kevin Hart, so there was really no reason for me not to enjoy it. But for other people, I understand it is a very stupid and goofy comedy. So if you want to check out my review, please go ahead. The next film I saw, Everything is Awesome! Of course, the Lego movie. I reviewed it, I loved it. Check out my review to know more. Of course I had to get my copy. The next movie is RoboCop. Yes, the remake with Michael Keaton, Gary Oldman, I forget who else, whatever. I reviewed it. It is a long review, so you can check it out if you want, but I actually did enjoy it. I did think it was a respectable remake. Of course it doesn't beat the original, come on. Nurse 3D. Now, I don't know why they bothered to put this movie in 3D. There's literally only a handful of shots that are 3D-like. And here's the thing, the movie was barely released in any theaters. It was mostly a VOD, video-on-demand title. And, who cares? It's a really shitty film. It's got its moments of cheesy horror entertainment. It's basically about a a veteran nurse who, she has a killer body. She's not very pretty though, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, she becomes obsessed with her protege, the woman who she's training, and she also moonlights as a serial killer. She kills a bunch of men who are perverts and adulterers. It's a very lame film. I give it a 2.5 because there were moments where I did enjoy it, and there's a lot of skin in the movie that, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed seeing. Okay, so the next movie is 300 Rise of an Empire. I actually did want to review this, but I never got around to it. I personally really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I even bought it. Yup. And I recently rewatched it. So yes, I do like this film. It's fun. Of course it's not on the same level as the original. You cannot, this guy right here, damn, I forget his name. I think it's Theocles or something like that, whatever the hell his name is. He's a decent character, he's a sympathetic character, you sympathize with him and his struggles, but he for damn sure ain't no King Leonidas. King Leonidas, when he spoke, you were inspired. When this guy speaks, it's like, okay, I get it. I enjoy it for its over-exaggerated gore. It's really cheesy but fun performance from Eva Green, who is a real evil woman in this movie, and she's great at it. I just really dug it. I had a fun time with it, and like I said, of course it's not on the same level as 300, but still a good time. I give it a 3.5. So the next movie I saw, which I also meant to do a solo review for it, never got around to it, Muppets Most Wanted. Now, the Muppets from, I think, 2011 was excellent in every possible way. I would say it was a Muppet lover's dream. So smart and so funny, and it was terrific. Now, this sequel is not even on the same level. It is an average, typical Muppet sequel. But see, that's just the thing. If you like the Muppets, then yeah, it's a fun movie. It's really funny, and I enjoyed it. I liked Ricky Gervais in the movie. I liked Ty Burrell and Tina Fey. The cameos were really funny. Danny Trejo was hilarious in the movie. The songs are funny and entertaining, but they're not memorable. You just cannot beat Life's a Happy Song. But I still really enjoyed it. It definitely borrows old-fashioned tactics from, comedies of the past. And I liked it. I would give it a 4. Alright, so the 8th film I've seen this year is a movie I really should have done a review for. In fact, I did do a review with Movie Man Chad on the Reader Film channel. It was a collab review that we did. We saw the film together. Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Now, I'll direct you to that video, but I gotta tell you, man, that movie, I think, has set a new standard for not just Marvel films, but for comic book films in general. The story is way more mature than most comic book movies that Marvel has put out. It's a great spy thriller. It's got a lot of espionage. It's got a lot of intrigue, along with some amazing action sequences that just grip you. Chris Evans is awesome as Steve Rogers, and I love that Scarlett Johansson really gets to play with her Black Widow character more. She gets to really flesh it out. And what's his name? Anthony Mackie as Falcon is great. Robert Redford as the character that he plays, he was amazing. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is fun from beginning to end. It's interesting because it's set a new standard. I'm just kind of worried that future Marvel films are not going to be able to match it, but we'll see. I really dug the movie a lot, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies of this year, and I do give it a 5 out of 5. So the next film I saw is That Awkward Moment. If you remember, it's a comedy that came out in January. It's with Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan, and Miles Teller. Interesting enough is it is a comedy, but it's not really funny. It was watchable. It was a watchable movie. Very odd how you can kind of be entertained by a comedy but not laugh at it. It just wasn't funny. I did actually enjoy the more serious moments of the film. The actors did well, but their lines just were not funny. There is this one girl who plays the love interest of Zac Efron. Her name is Imogen Poots. She's adorable. There's something incredibly charming about this actress, and I really look forward to seeing her in more films. But anyway, The Awkward Moment was just a very average film. I give it a 2.5. It wasn't something that I highly enjoyed, but I was able to get through it. So the next film is Knights of Badassdom. This is actually a 2013 film, which it actually should have came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but it got shelved. If you don't know what this is kind of like a, it deals with LARPing. You know how you get those nerds who dress up like medieval characters, wizards and stuff like that, and they go out in the forest and they do live role playing. That's what this is, and it has to do with a group of friends that read a passage from a book, and they accidentally release a succubus. So it becomes a horror comedy. And it's very uneven because the comedy element is not really that good, the horror element is not scary, but it's kind of entertaining. The gore effects are really terrific. The only reason why I saw it, the only two reasons, was the fact that it has Peter Dinklage, who is really great in the movie, and Summer Glau, who I think is incredibly sexy, and kind of underrated. She, if you remember, she was River from Serenity and Firefly, and she was the Terminator chick from the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's an average movie. It's not that great, but yeah, 2.5. It's really dumb, but kind of enjoyable. Next, the movie, and oh god, I really have to watch it with this one because when I start talking about this movie, I don't shut up. And it's not because I love it, it's not because it's good, it's just because it's such a mixed bag that it's astounding how they kind of messed it up. Again, they messed it up. And anyway, I'm talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I did a review for that, so you can check it out. It's a long review, it's a spoiler review. I also did a podcast with Chippewa, Ramil. I forget who else was on it. I feel so bad. I think it was Alex Perez and Lauren Loves Movies. We did a podcast on We the Film. Awesome podcast if you want to check it out. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is such a sloppy movie, but it's undeniably entertaining. I did enjoy it more than the previous Spider-Man film, but the stories is so all over the place that it's just, it's a weird ass movie. I still give it a 3. I give it a slightly positive review, and that's that. The next film is actually a straight to Blu-ray release. It's one of those DC animated films that come out and they're PG-13 and they're incredibly awesome. It's Son of Batman. I really dug this movie. There's actually a lot of people that didn't care for it. I don't even know why. I love the animation. I love the violence. Jesus Christ, this is bloody as hell. The character of Damian Wayne is an asshole, but I like it. For some reason, I think it's kind of clever the way he kind of outsmarts people. I really enjoyed this. I'm really interested in reading the story arc of Damian Wayne. I really did. I dug it. I give it a 4, and let's move on. Next comes Neighbors with Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, and Zac Efron. I did see it in theaters, and I did review it. And you can check that review out if you want. Basically, in a nutshell, I liked it. It was funny. The next movie is a straight-to-DVD film. It's called Bad Country. aka Risky Bay, aka Who Gives a Shit. The movie sucks ass. It's such a standard, below average cops and robbers type of movie. It has Willem Dafoe, Matt Dillon, Tom Berenger. It has a good cast, but the story is so standard and so subpar that it's just it numbs your mind as to why they would even bother with a movie like this. I actually did a written review for it. I might leave the link down below, you can check it out. But really, it's such an average film. It's below average, so I don't recommend it. Next is Godzilla. Godzilla is something that I did enjoy. I did review it, so you can check it out. But I don't know what else to add. I feel like I left a lot out of my review, but overall I just enjoyed it. The human characters, yeah, they're whatever. I love the atmosphere and the style of the Godzilla remake. Okay, so the next movie is Pompeii. Now people bash this movie. They hate this movie. They spit on it. They piss on it. And rightfully so. It is a shitty film coming from Hollywood's shittiest director, Paul W.S. Anderson. The guy just can't seem to make a good movie to save his life. However, when you compare this movie to the recent films that he's done, which would be the 4th and 5th Resident Evil movies, and, oh god, Three Musketeers. This movie is actually awesome compared to those pieces of shit. Now, Pompeii, honestly, I mean, you know how it ends, obviously, but you really hope that the story can get you involved enough to care about these characters who are doomed. No, you don't care. However, I will say that the movie does have some decent action. It actually has some very exciting gladiator sequences, and Kit Harington, well, that was unfortunate. Kit Harington from Game of Thrones shows that the guy can handle some fine action sequences and he can swing the sword very well. Of course, he shows that in Game of Thrones. But I would love for this guy to be a better actor. I want to see him in more films, and he needs to show a lot more emotion than what he did with this film. The love story is completely forced and unnecessary. It's not even interesting. Kiefer Sutherland, man. Kiefer Sutherland, what is he doing? I love Kiefer Sutherland. I love me some Jack Bauer. But man, talking about sticking out like a sore thumb. Terrible performance. But it was kind of funny. So yeah, Pompeii, I'm not going to completely bash it and rule it as a shitty film. Well, it is a shitty film, but it is kind of entertaining. So I'll give it 2.5. I don't recommend it, but I would say if you're going to laugh at something or kind of enjoy something cheesy, check it out. Okay, so here is a movie that I should be ashamed of myself for not reviewing. The thing is, there's like 1,000 reviews of it already. X-Men Days of Future Past. This is one of my favorite movies of the year as well, and I do think that when I get it on Blu-ray, I'm gonna rewatch it and possibly review it then. But for now, I know the film has plot holes, it has flaws, it has continuity issues that boggle the mind. But damn it if it's not amazing, damn it if it's not awesome. It really is. The acting in the film, the style of it, this is definitely Bryan Singer's baby. He needs to be a part of this series because he is the master at telling this story. I love this movie. Peter Dinklage was great. Just everything about it is great. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are like the dynamic duo of this series. When those two get together, it's like poetry. They are so great together, and I want to see more of it. But definitely, X-Men Days of Future Past, I don't give a damn about the flaws. I don't feel the flaws when I see the film. I feel nothing but enjoyment and excitement, and I give it a 5. We'll see if I feel the same way in my second viewing, but I'm pretty sure I will. Next is A Million Ways to Die in the West. The so-called comedy directed by Seth MacFarlane. I did review it, so go check it out because I really don't want to talk about that movie right now. Next is Maleficent, which I also reviewed, so go check that out. I just want to say I just don't understand the hate. I understand that people don't like the movie, but damn, I mean, it's a Disney film. You can't expect Disney films nowadays to be dark. I know that's what some people wanted. It just wasn't meant to be. The only way you're gonna be able to tell a really dark story about Maleficent is if it's by a different studio. Okay, so next is The Monuments Men. This is the film, the World War II film directed by George Clooney, starring George, starring Matt Damon, Bill Murray, John Goodman, Jean Dujardin. I really forget the other guy's name. He's a really good actor. I feel so indifferent towards this movie because it is a good film, but it's not anything that you really should see. It's not like the story of these soldiers who went to war to preserve art that was stolen by the Germans. It's a good story. It's a noble story, but it's kind of like an accountant that saves you a ton of money. It's a good, it's good for you that he saved you some money. It's a good, noble story, but I don't think it necessarily makes a good film. The Monuments Men is just not a very exciting movie. There's no action, there's no excitement, and when they try to give you some comedy, it doesn't really quite work. But I can't deny it's a noble film. It's a good film. The actors that are in it are kind of underused, but they do what they can to make you enjoy the film, I guess. I give it a 3. I don't know what else to give it. I don't want to give it a negative review because it's not a bad film. It's just not something that you're going to enjoy entirely. Next is Edge of Tomorrow. I reviewed Edge of Tomorrow. Please check that review out so you can really understand how much I really love that film. It is my favorite film of the year so far, even if I wasn't too... The ending of it was not bad. I just would have liked a different direction. But still, the movie is the greatest. You need to see that movie. The next film I saw was Non-Stop. This is the one with Liam Neeson, where he's on a plane and somebody's threatening to kill passengers. Really intriguing, really exciting thriller, but then there's that final act. You've probably heard this already. That final act is beyond ridiculous. It seemed like they had no idea where to go with that final act. So it gives you this really ridiculous and implausible, outcome. I will admit though, I was entertained by it in a very cheesy way. It's a shame that the movie couldn't be better, but still, I did like it. I love Liam Neeson. I like the supporting cast in the film, so I'm gonna give it a pass. I'm gonna give it a 3. It was something that you can watch once and just be like, hey, that wasn't too bad. Next comes an independent movie. Yes, an independent. I really need to buckle down and watch more independent movies this year. Pong Summer. This was showcased at Sundance Film Festival and South by Southwest, different festivals. And, yeah, honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it. This is kind of a throwback to 80s coming-of-age films. It takes place in 1985. It deals with a little nerdy kid who loves ping pong and hip-hop music. That aspect I should love, right? Hip-hop, I love hip-hop. But in this movie, it's such a bland movie. It's like no one really seemed into their roles in this film. The kids that are in the movies, in this movie, they speak with 80s slang, and you can tell they have no idea what they're saying. Susan Sarandon is in the film, and they kind of set her up to be this mysterious character who's gonna help the main boy, the main character. I don't think she was into that role either. I think she was like, I agreed to do this movie for some reason, but I don't really care. One of my DVDs or Blu-rays just fell. I just didn't like it. There were moments of charm that were nice, but overall, it's just not a very good movie. I really just did not like it. I give it a 2. I wish I could go higher than that. I almost give it 2.5, but deep down, I was really excited once it ended. We are almost done, so if you've been watching all this time, just hang in there, we're almost done. 22 Jump Street. That would look so much cooler if I had slow motion. I really want to do a solo review for this one. When I saw the movie, I wanted to review it right away, but I never got the chance. Life just gets in the way of reviewing, you know? 22 Jump Street is awesome. It is hilarious and raunchy, just like the first film. And I think that it's on par with the first film. I slightly like the first one a little more, but this one is still funny. And like in the first film, some things hit, some things miss. Sometimes things go a little too wild. But there is no denying. Okay, first of all, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, I am so shocked as to how well they work together. They are just a comedy dream team. They are so great together. I love the scene when they start twerking balls. That is the most hilarious damn thing in the movie. Ass and titties, ass and titties. But Ice Cube, my man, my idol, my inspiration, Ice Cube. Oh, yes, he nails it. He is just the best in this movie. He steals the show, and I'm so glad. All I wanted was for Ice Cube to do more in this film, and he is in it more. He's got some incredibly hilarious scenes. Thank God for Ice Cube, man. But 22 Jump Street was great. I give it a 4 out of 5. I know it seems like I should give it a higher rating, but I mean, no, like I said, it's got some silliness that I didn't really care for. But overall, god damn it, it was hilarious. The next film is Cheap Thrills, which is actually a 2013 film, but was released this year. It was screened at different festivals last year. This year it got its release, which was mostly a VOD release. But anyway, it's a very odd movie. It's actually really enjoyable in a very sick and twisted way. It deals with two down on their luck friends who go to a bar and they come across this couple. The husband is played by David, I don't know the guy's last name, but he played the sportscaster in the Anchorman movies, you know, whammy. And this couple pays these people, these two guys, to do the most random and ridiculous things. It's not long before things just get out of hand and they get really psychotic and very weird. And that's the way this movie goes. It's really entertaining and kind of engaging, but then it gets really gross and very weird. Overall, I did enjoy the film for being something that's, you know, pretty low budget, it was decent. I'll give it a 3.5. Definitely check out Cheap Thrills if you want a cheap thrill. Next is the Grand Budapest Hotel, directed by Wes Anderson. I do consider myself a Wes Anderson fan, and wow, I mean, I took a chance with this one. I bought it. It was a blind buy. I bought it, and I did not regret it because I enjoyed every second of this movie. One of my favorite Wes Anderson films, if not my favorite, is The Life Aquatic. I know a lot of people don't think that's like his weakest film. Not to me. I love The Life Aquatic, and this film, I think, kind of surpasses it, if not matches it. I just really highly enjoyed the hell out of this. It's so funny. It's so quirky. It's so out there. I mean, there's nothing like watching a Wes Anderson film. There's just something about this film that's kind of indescribable. But this film definitely gave me a lot of happy feelings, okay? I love the cast in this movie. Ray Fiennes and the kid that plays, God, what was his name? The main kid, the main actor. God, they make such a great team. This was fantastic. I still believe that you have to be a Wes Anderson fan to really appreciate this movie. Wes Anderson fan does not make his films for mainstream audiences. And this film has been said to be a film that everybody can enjoy. I think on some level, yes, that's true, but really you should be a fan of Wes Anderson before you consider watching this. But I really am so glad I bought this. I think I'm gonna go 5 out of 5. Because you know what? There's not a single thing I didn't like in this movie. It's so funny. And it's got a good story. It's really intriguing. So I gotta give it a 5, man. I really do. 5. Is that okay with you? 5? Yes? Okay, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It's one of the best movies of this year. Next we come to Transformers: The Age of Extinction. Did a review on that. All I'm gonna say is my head still hurts after watching that movie. And it's been like 2 weeks or a week or whatever. I had no concept of time thanks to that movie. 2 more, okay? Next is Bad Words. Again, this is a 2013 film, but it was released officially this year. It's directed and stars Jason Bateman. It's the one where he is an older guy in spelling bee contests. Very, very awkward film, I gotta say. I liked it on some level, but I felt dirty while watching it. The guy he plays is a prick. He is not a nice guy. God, I wanted to actually strangle the guy sometimes. It's funny, it's rude, it's odd, it's mean, it's very mean-spirited. So, I gotta give it a 3. I really don't know how to describe my true feelings towards the movie. All I know is that it's so awkward. The last film is one that I took a chance with as well. It came out, actually the day it came out, it was $13 on Blu-ray. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Now, I like the Jack Ryan character, and I know that this is a completely different take on the character. Harrison Ford played that character to perfection. Now we got Chris Pine, and the guy is more of an agent than the analyst that he was in the previous films. Great stuff, man. If you like spies and intrigue, which I love that stuff, definitely give this a watch. I liked it. I didn't love it. It has issues, like it tries to be smarter than it really is. And it's not bombarded with action. It is more story driven. Kevin Costner is terrific. Kevin Costner, I think, steals the show. Chris Pine is fine. He's okay, you know. And Keira Knightley is just so damn pretty. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I don't really have a whole great deal to say. It just, as I was watching it, I was in suspense. I was intrigued, I was happy, so I give it a 3.5. If you have watched this entire video, I thank you. You are truly awesome. I hope I didn't completely bore you. I love talking about films, yo. I just can't help it. I love rambling about all this shit. So anyway, before I ramble on more and stretch this out longer than what it has to be, thank you for watching. We'll see how I do the next video for the rest of this year. Hope it might be a 2-parter, because I'm sure I'm gonna watch a lot more movies in the coming months. Now that it's July, wow, July sucks. This year, July sucks. There's only one truly good-looking movie, and that's the 8th movie. And Lucy looks good. I just don't know how good it's gonna be. So let's hope that we have a great, final summer season and a great Oscar season. We'll see what happens. So far, the films I saw were good, some were okay. Nothing that I truly hated, thankfully. We'll see how things go for the rest of the year. I still got a lot to catch up on, movies like Divergent, about last night. Just a lot of stuff I still have to watch. I'm not watching The Legend of Hercules. I don't even think I'm gonna watch Hercules with The Rock. That looks really dumb. So anyway, I better get going. You've heard me talk way too much by now. Peace. Leave some comments down below. Tell me what movies that tell me whatever. What movies were you disappointed with? What movies are you going to avoid? Independent movies. If there are some great independent movies that you could think of that came out this year, let me know. Peace. Happy 4th of July. Have a great summer. Let's all go swimming one day. That's just weird. Okay, peace. Watch it.